Second step of my exercise is to make the whole thing available in a way that I only can see people where the last name starts with A or down to the last name starts with D. To do so, I have to do something other else than only setting column and table permissions. And what I have to do is I have at the end to define so named where clauses to my base objects. Before I start to implement something like that, it's always a good idea to have a look into the SQL and to figure out what exactly I like to get. If I just create such a SQL sample, then you can see what I like to do. It's similar to the following statement. Select first name, last name, central account from person. These are my three columns I like to see. Where and now the last name like starts with A, starts with B, C, and D. And it is always here concatenated using an OR. That means it could start with A or start with B and so on. There are as well other ways to create that SQL and there are smaller ways to do that. But to be honest, this is easy to understand for everyone, and because of that, I like to use that. The last part here is an order that just orders the result set. And as you can see here, last name starts with E, it's at the end. And if I just go down, you will see B, there's a little bit C as well, and D. And at the end, there is nothing more than D. That means there's no E, for example. This is what I like to implement, and now I have to do that. And what I need, it's the condition. That means all stuff between the where and the or in this statement, that is what I need. So I just take that and copy this. Here we are. So with that, I step now back into my designer and I select my employee base object. Here we are. And on the employee base object, there you will find the permission filters. Here they are. I can set a viewing condition, an edit, an insert, and a delete condition. And to do so, I have just to add as a condition here in the viewing condition that will at the end allow me to see the objects. And for edit, insert, and delete, I do exactly the same. I can as well hit the check button just to see if that is valid, and it tells me, yes, of course it's valid. I'm not really astonished because I tested that before in the Microsoft SQL tool. And with that, I just commit my change to the database. Here we are. And now I try to use it. And new connection and a password to the test user. I see my menus, entries, I step to employees, here we are. I can see A's, and at the end I can see sets, so that looks like there is something not correct configured. And this is the truth and the reason for I like to show you InDesign. And before I can do something, I have to reload the data, and the reason for is my system have to be aware of all of that. So I just connect to the database again, which is the fastest way to reload everything. Yes, of course, there's as well a reload data switch. That is something I can use as well. But I will sometimes lose the one or the other dialog page, and so I just typically use the new connection feature. Back in Designer, I switch to permissions and to permission groups. And once I'm selected the correct table, here it is, then you can see my three groups I created. And one of them shows now the viewing, the insert, and the edit condition and the delete condition. There's just one other problem. Please remember, we are assigning all the others as well. And the two others I get by inheritance are as well coming without a condition. If you followed my instructions before, you might have heard that if a condition is not set, that will automatically lead to all objects are affected. To be sure that that permission stuff really works, I have not to set the condition only here. I have to set it on all of the other three affected groups as well. So for example, I go to the basic information part. Here we are. And I will set for the person edit rights here as well my filters. For the user interface, the filters already should be set. Yes, of course. And for the basic information, if you look at that, you will see there is no permission activated, and because of that I cannot set everything, so I will not set something for this one. I commit to the database and I sign in again into my manager, and once I selected my employees here, I can see that I now only see objects down to D. There is nothing more underneath of D. And you can see from my more than 1,000 users, only 241 are left. And that shows you now how to subset these people. And again, if I select one of these, I will see my 4 properties that already exists, first name, last name, and certification status. Nothing other else there, only on my Angeles. There is the central account. Here we are.